What is up, people? This is the Oracle, and we are back online for some more vintage cubing. Pretty hyped today. It's the first time I'm recording in my new apartment. We just moved in last weekend with my girlfriend, and everything has been going pretty well. It's really cool there. And more importantly for you, I actually do have a, a not awful internet connection now, so uploading and recording is going to be a little bit easier, and I'll be able to start streaming pretty soon. I will do that during the summer or at the end of summer, not exactly sure when, but pretty happy and hyped about having a decent upload speed and being able to do more things. In any case, Joraka Tree Speaker is pretty good, one of the best one mana dork. I think I'm just gonna pick Yawgmoth Wheel though and try to draft a Storm deck. Yawgwheel is just super sweet. It's definitely a build around, and you mostly want to be Storm, but it's a sweet card and we'll try to make it work. Here it's probably gonna be Tutor. You can fetch the Wheel, which is in the right deck the best card in your deck and one of the most powerful thing you can do. Tutor is pretty good in Storm in general too. Other options include Painful Truce, which is solid, but I think it's gonna wheel, and Tolarian Academy if we get enough artifact, but it's a little bit more demanding. And sometimes you can have a good Storm deck without many artifact and many, artifact basically. So I think I'll just pick Tutor, which I know is gonna be pretty good, and it's gonna be able to fetch one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful card in my deck. Here it's going to be Time Twister, which again is also going to be one of the most powerful card in the deck. If the deck end up being good, end up being built correctly. Remand and Streaks are decent because they buy a little bit of time, but they don't cost you a card, so you can play these, and yeah, it just buys you time and without costing you any cards. So it's cards I do like playing in Storm. By the way, this is a queue, this is not a league. So we'll be playing against the cards we saw, and we'll not be playing against cards we are playing. So I'm not the biggest fan of Careful Study in Storm because you need quite a bit of resources, and Careful Study puts you down on card advantage. Do like the card a lot in Reanimator. It's fine though when you just try to go off and you need some cheap spell to get your Storm count, and at some point you might Time Twister and then you have a bunch of useless land in hand, and Study becomes pretty much a draw 2-for-1. So I'm still gonna pick it here, but again, not usually card I like a lot in Storm, but I've seen quite a bit of people playing it in Storm and it's been fairly good for them. So, I don't know, it's probably better than I think it is. Here I'm gonna pick Signet, I believe. It's half on color, but there's a chance we end up playing something like Fast Bond or Heartbeat of Spring, in which case it would even be fixing. And Petition is fine, but not one of the best card, and it might just wheel, whereas Signet I don't think is ever gonna wheel, so... Okay, Lion's Eye Diamond, great to play with the Yogg Wheel. Great card in general. Also plays kinda well with Time Twister, potentially. Yep. Sounds good. Polluted Delta, I guess, for the fixing. We know we are going to be blue-black. Sometimes you'll end up playing blue-black-red for Thissing Song, Emptied Warrens and whatnot, but right now I just rather pick the fetch for my colors that I know I'm going to be playing. Definitely like Yawgmoth Bargain more than Necropotence, so just pick that. Cool, well, looks like no one's playing Storm and things are shipping up pretty well. We have a lot of good and important cards for the deck already, which is nice. I'm gonna pick Ultimate Price here for my side in case it's good in a matchup. Don't really want to main deck too many cards that are not mana or that don't help you Storm in the main though. But yeah, we have Yawgmoth Wheel, LED, a Tutor, a Time Twister, and Bargain. That's a very decent draw, and a Signet, uh, which is nice. Yeah, I don't think we'll ever play Tezzeret, even though it can give you some mana. I think there's a bigger chance we won't Sanctum because again we end up splashing for Heartbeat of Spring or Fast Bombed. Yeah, I think this makes more sense. Same with Tomb here. Okay, we have quite a bit of fixing already, which is nice. I guess there's a very small chance we end up playing Reanimator. Like if we see no more cards for Storm and some Reanimation cards and Tomb and whatnot, so Primus could be something. But it's looking pretty good. Like we got a lot of very good and important cards for the Storm deck, so I kind of feel like there's a chance we just end up doing that. Don't think we'll ever play enough Island to make Shackles good even in the side. There's a small chance we splash for some white though. But one of the main reasons you would splash for white is Mirari's Wake, and it was in it was in this it was in the packs we saw, and it did not wheel, so I don't really think we'll end up splashing for white. Time Spiral, Reanimate, I guess, but we are not really Reanimator. Baral is pretty good. It might just wheel. It's more likely gonna wheel. Well, I guess if no one playing Storm, both Time Spiral and Baral should wheel. I think Time Spiral might be better. Not even sure, like, Baral has impressed me quite a lot. I saw both John Finkel and Gabriel Nassif drafting Storm yesterday. It was pretty cool on stream, and Baral was pretty good for them in their deck, in their Storm deck. Definitely a card I kind of underrated at first, I guess. I'm pretty sure it's gonna wheel anyway, but I'm gonna pick Time Spiral. Sotis is not bad. I think Memory Jar is a card I like quite a bit, but once you already have Time Twister and Time Spiral, it kind of decreases in value. I could see Hedron Archive being fine. Like, you want mana. Sotis is decent. Treasure Cries I don't think is where you want to be when you are playing Yawgmoth Wheel. And Volt could be good if we end up playing red, but I'm not sure about that. I kind of want to pick Volcanic though, because of Emptied Warrens, Sitting Song and whatnot. Do like Thoughtseize though. I'm gonna pick Thoughtseize. Bring to Light is another reason to splash for green. I've been pretty impressed with that card in Storm. Mind's Desire could be fine, but it's probably gonna wheel. I think I'm gonna pick Cabal Ritual. It seems like the most important card, and one that's pretty good with Yogg Wheel. But I'd be very happy if I can wheel Bring or Mind's Desire, but I'm pretty sure they are both gonna wheel. Cool news, good thing when you are playing Storm and it's open is that you will, even if there's a bunch of cards you need stacked in a pack, you will probably just wheel them, even if they are very good and very important. Now it's a little bit different since this is a queue and some people might counter draft. However, yeah, it's still pretty pleasant to be in this archetype when when it's open. I think I'm just gonna pick. Well, there's a Teething Song, I guess, but it might just wheel. Kind of wanna pick Muldrifter, honestly. Do like Inquisition way less than Thoughtseize. But draw 2 for 3 mana I think is solid in Storm. Just help you getting enough cards and setting up and make sure you hit your land drop. I do like Visions. There's Tendrils. I mean, Tendrils is gonna wheel unless someone counter drafts it. But if someone counter drafts it, it's such a disaster that I think I'm not gonna take any chance. Like again in the leagues, I think there's way less chance that it gets counter drafts. But if somehow someone wants to nuke the guy who's playing Storm at the table and pick that, it's gonna be really, really bad for us. I think we need to pick it and just not be too greedy. Turnabout is good if we end up having High Tide or what's the name? Heartbeat of Spring. Right now it's not looking super exciting, but it could end up being fine. There's a High Tide. Okay, that's cool. I like that. There's also Empty the Warrens. I think High Tide is looking pretty good though. Yeah. Mental Misstep is somewhat good against me, but I think I just have Brain Maggot, which is also good against me and is a good sideboard option that I can use myself. Barrel Wield, great. I don't want to play against Rin Wingmare, so we'll just counter draft that. Mind's Desire wheel, but Bring to Light did not wheel. Whatever. Okay, I think we'll try to really make the metagame base good and play as many islands as we can to make that High Tide real strong. And then in general, you don't even need that much black, because even though your win condition will be black and you might have something like Bargain, you often end up using your rituals as when you're going off, and you'll end up with enough black. When you go off, mana is often not really an issue in Storm, because you'll have things like LED or Ritual and whatnot. I don't think it's a big deal. Spectre and Inquisition are a good option against control. I'm fairly fine main decking Soulseas. Not so high on main decking. I don't want to play against Braid. Not really high on main decking. Inquisition though in Storm. Okay, Young Pyromancer is pretty cool, but we don't have the fixing for red. We did not will Empty the Warren, so I don't think we'll be playing red actually. I guess there's a Rakdos Signet here. Brainstorm is fine, probably better than in other deck. And between the Tutor and the Fetch, we have, I guess, 2 Shuffle effects. Commit Memory I don't think is very appealing or good. So it's basically between Brainstorm. I don't think you want counter spells in your Storm deck, unless it's something like Remand. That's mostly there to buy you time. So yeah, it's between Brainstorm and Signet. I might just pick Signet, the curve is fairly high. Yeah. And Brainstorm I think is more likely gonna wheel. Well, Channel is a green card I would be willing to splash in my Storm deck. The problem is the mana, like double green seems really hard, and we want a really clean mana base with a ton of island for the High Tide. So I think we'd rather pick Tropical Island. Maybe we'll get something like Heartbeat of Spring, but I think playing Channel here is going to be a little bit too greedy. And since it's an island, this is a much better piece of fixing than Blooming March, and we can fetch it with Polluted Delta. And we might not even splash for green, but if we do end up wanting to do that, this Trop is going to be real good. We are not getting a ton here. I mean, fixing is not bad, but non-island fixing is a little bit... I mean, it's fine. It's not super exciting, though. But we are a little bit short on cards right now, on actual factual spells, so we'll need a little bit help. Heartbeat of Spring, very nice with Turnabout, Time Spiral. Now the question is, do we hope that it wheels and we pick Coalition Relic and get a little bit greedy, or do we just pick the Heartbeat because it's gonna be really good in our deck? It's kinda close because Relic is never gonna wheel and Heartbeat has a pretty high chance to wheel. The pack is quite weak though, so I could imagine someone counter drafting. Heartbeat is just looking so good and we have all the fixing for it. I think we pick Heartbeat. But maybe we should have gotten greedy. Okay, some more green. Yeah. Gush is probably, it's not great, but it's fine once you, it's just not something you want to use when you are using High Tide, Turnabout, and these kind of things. But once you already done a lot of things, you already Time Spiral and 2, it's a free spell. You can also just pay 5 and draw 2 at some point if you have enough time. I don't think it's gonna be great, but I think it's gonna be better than anything else here, and we need some playballs, so let's do that. Library going 6-peak? What? 7-peak? What? This is probably the best card in the cube just after Sol Ring and Recall and Black Lotus. Like it's probably better than Mox is. It's completely insane. Like you will always win when you have that on your opener. I mean, 90% of the time. What? And it's colorless. Like the hell. I'll take it, but I don't really get why it got so far. Repeal is fine. You can just use it with LED to generate some more Storm if you want. It's also a card that again, like Remand or Baleful Streaks, will give you a little bit of time and replace itself, so it's not something I'm thrilled to play, but it's perfectly fine. Guess we'll pick Dragon Predator for the side. And we are still a little bit short on playballs. Inquisition and Brain Maggot are playable. Not cards I'm thrilled to put in deck here. Leovold? I don't know about Leovold. I think it's more of a sideboard option than anything else, but could be these. Do we want Elves of the Deep Shadow? Not really. I think Skin Render. I think we are getting slightly cut by people somehow. Dark Confident I think might be pretty good though. We have a couple 6, but our curve is not that high. Yeah, I think it's gonna be fine in the deck. Kalidas in the side is nice. And then maybe we just got Brain Maggot. The draft started really well and then not so good at the end. I mean, we still have our win condition, pretty solid mana, card draw, and I think this deck is functional. It's just not as good as it could have been, should have been, might have been. Is it really greedy to play Dark Confident here? I don't think it's that greedy. We'll try it. I very rarely play Dark Confident in Cube, so I think it's a decent deck to try it. Probably cutting Brain Maggots. And we'll do that. And now, I don't think we need any more green. Yeah, we definitely don't. So we'll just try to add as many islands as we can. How much black do we have? Mm, 4. Probably need 7. And this would be what? 9 islands in the deck. I'd rather have 10, but I don't think I can go down to 6 black sources. We still need black a little bit early for Dark Confident or discard spell and whatnot, so we'll just do that. Alright. Oh, I can put one more card. And why? It's been a couple of weeks since MTGO kept giving me 16-land mana base somehow. I don't really know why. It's a new trend. So I guess we can add one more island, which is nice. Okay, cool. I think the deck again is functional. It is very soft to a card like Leyline of Sanctity. We cannot beat that. However, the mana is good. We have the tools to storm. We have some pretty busted draw. I think it's rather consistent. And I think one of the way to try to look at the quality of your storm deck is looking how much cards you have that are not gonna help you comboing, basically. And here there's only, well, Dark Confidant actually helps as a card draw spell. Here we only have 2 cards that are not good to combo, basically. Everything else is either card draw, mana, or ways to go off. And this is pretty important because sometimes when you don't get enough stuff, you end up with a deck that's a little bit too heavy on, you know, cards like Ultimate Price and whatnot because you needed to put enough spells. And then it really reduces your consistency, I believe. So I think we are looking decent here. Also, we have some nice sideboard option. Not sure about Leovold. It seems like we could main deck that, but I don't see any reason to. I'm pretty happy about main decking Dark Confidant. It's gonna be a little bit risky, but overall this curve is not crazy high. We might hit a 6 from time to time, but drawing 2 a turn when you're playing Storm and trying to assemble enough cards and mana is pretty big. In any case, that was the draft. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching and see you for round uno.